Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly video on the best new editions of board games coming to retail in the month of September. Sneaking this in here before the end of the month. This video contains updated versions of old games, re-implementations of old games where maybe the theme has changed or, tweaked, and then also games in an established series of games. So I've got like 18 or 19 games for you here. There's a lot of new additions this month. If my voice sounds weird or I'm a little lower energy than normal, it's because I am currently sick, and so I apologize about that. I've held off on filming this for multiple days, hoping that I would feel better, and I don't, and I'm out of time, and so I'm putting this out regardless. So, what a month, Last month, my expansions video, I couldn't get my microphone to work. Now this one, I'm sick. It's been a September. All right, let's get into the games. As always, I hope you find something that you're excited about. First up this month, 25th Century Games is releasing a new version of the game Botswana. This game has come out a number of times under a lot of different names. You might have heard it called Wildlife Safari. You might have heard it called Irish Wolf, Thor. There's been a bunch of versions of this. Botswana plays 2 to 5 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. This is a Reiner Knizia game, and a lot of his games have been put out in multiple versions. The way this game works is there are a number of different wildlife types. You've got elephants and zebras and lions, and you're going to be playing cards, and then taking those cards represent various different animals that are in the game, and they have a value on them. And then you're going to take one of the animals and put it in front of you. At the end of the game, whatever number is on the top of the stack for that animal, the animal in front of you will collect that much points. So if the last card played on the lion stack is a 4, then every lion you have in front of you is worth a 4. Whereas if the last one played on a zebra is a 0, then any zebra in front of people are worth 0. And so you're going to play a few rounds and try to have the most points at the end of the rounds. This 25th Century version has, wooden animeeples, which are nice. 25th Century always does high quality production. I feel like their production value on their games is always good. So, that's a reason to check out this version. Originally came out in 1994. So, if you want a older game that feels fresh and new, then check out Botswana. Ares Games is releasing Quartermaster General South Front. This is a 2-player only game, plays in 90 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Ares has released a number of these Quartermaster General games, and they all represent various different fronts during World War II. So this, the South Front, this is like Africa and Italy and, stuff like that. Eventually, you might be able to combine all of the different Quartermaster General games into one big epic game. The East Front, the South Front, the West Front, all that sort of stuff. But the idea of the game is that it's kind of a fast-paced war game. Some war games can take all day. This one is meant to take a couple of hours. Each player has a unique deck of cards, so whether you're playing as the Allies or the Axis of Power, your deck of cards is going to have equipment, manpower, strategies used by that side, and they are, asymmetric in terms of the way they play and their win conditions and stuff. So this is the second version of the Quartermaster General one, but there will be more fronts coming out in the future. So, yeah, if you want a sort of fast-paced war game, then check out Quartermaster General South Front. Asmodee is releasing Forest Shuffle Dartmoor. This plays 2 to 5 players in about 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a standalone game. This is not an expansion to Forest Shuffle. This is a standalone game. It does a lot of the same things that Forest Shuffle does. I've had a chance to play this. It's largely the same game. There are a few tweaks and differences. It introduces a new habitat to the game, these moors that you can sort of build around in addition to the trees that you build around. And it's got new species with new abilities and bonuses to explore. So it's a lot more cards, a lot, sort of updated species. It's kind of, just more, right? It's more habitats, it's more species. It mechanically is almost exactly the same as the original Forest Shuffle, except that these terrain cards, there are cards you can build around horizontally instead of just the vertical trees in the game. So if you really like Forest Shuffle and you want to explore new, combos and stuff, that's one of the best things about Forest Shuffle is that all the cards in the game are multi-use cards, so it's always about how are you going to use this card, and are you going to discard it to pay for other cards, are you going to build it, are you going to combo it with other cards? There's a lot of combos between cards, and so winning Forest Shuffle is really just about finding synergies between the cards that you decide to play. And so if you like that sort of stuff, this is more of that, Forest Shuffle Dartmoor. Asmodee is releasing Unlock Short Adventures, The Song of the Sea Spray. This plays 1 to 6 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. This, fits into their Unlock series. It's a series of sort of escape room, mystery solving, puzzle solving games. The idea of the Unlock Short Adventures is it's a shorter playtime. The big box unlocks have usually 3 cases in them, and each case takes a couple of hours. Whereas this one has really a single case, and it takes about 45 minutes to play. So if you want a small box version of Unlock, then Short Adventures might be for you. Each of the different Unlock things is a new story, a new mystery, some new puzzles. This one thematically it's a romance that offers a memorable experience where poetry and mystery intertwine. A touching and original theme. So, if you want a romance for two creatures that you don't think end up together, then check out The Song of the Sea Spray. Asmodee is also releasing The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls 2nd Edition. This plays 2 to 4 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is on the edge of lightweight to medium weight game. The Binding of Isaac originally came out in 2018, and this is an updated new edition of it. So, as with any of these sort of just new editions, it usually has updated graphic design, updated art, maybe some rules tweaks to respond to some questions that have been posed online, that sort of thing. So, if you like the Binding of Isaac video game, that's a reason to check out this one. It's a game all about sacrifice, betrayal, and hoarding. In the game, you are going to be collecting treasure, you're going to be gathering loot, defeating monsters, and the first to collect 4 souls wins. It is largely a card game, so you're going to be playing out cards and using those to defeat monsters and collect souls. So there are over 300 cards in the game, so you're not going to see a lot of them, in most games that you play, so that's where the replayability comes in. There's just a lot of content in the game. Asmodee is also releasing Star Wars Super Teams. This is a reimplementation of a game called Sonic Super Teams. It plays 2 to 4 players in 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight racing game. So this is a game that is meant to be very accessible, family friendly. They say it works for ages 7 and up. It takes the mechanisms of Sonic Super Teams and sets it in the world of Star Wars, and there's all these Star Wars ships in the game. So, if you're a fan of X-Wings and TIE Fighters and all that, Millennium Falcon, there's little miniatures of all those, so that's fun. It is a lightweight racing game. You are going to have a hand of cards, and at 4 players, you're going to be playing with a teammate. At 2 players, you're going to be represented by 2 different colors. And so the interesting thing of the game, the unique aspect of the game, is that you have a hand of cards, and it doesn't necessarily just represent the 2 colors that your team is, covering. You also get cards in your hand for your opposing team, and you have to play all of the cards in your hand. And so you are going to be moving your opponents forward as well, but you need to figure out when to do it and how to be least effective for your opponents, whereas you're being most effective for you and your teammate. You are going to be putting a card down, and this is going to say you're going to move red 4 spaces forward. But then there's a lot of special spaces on the board, right? There are some spaces you land on and it pushes you back. There are some spaces that you land on and it puts you in an asteroid field, so you only move 1. And so it's just being strategic about when you play the cards and racing to the end of the track. There's a track on the board, and you're trying to get to the end of it first. So if you like lightweight racing games, then check out Star Wars Super Teams. CMYK is releasing a new version of the game Magical Athlete. This plays 2 to 6 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. It is a wacky, wild racing game. This one, it leans into silliness for sure. Every game is going to take place over 4 races. And at the start of every game, you are going to draft your team of 4 racers. And then each race in the game, you're going to choose one of the racers that you drafted to be racing in that particular race. And then you'll be playing all 4 of yours into separate races. The sort of central hook of the game is that every racer breaks the game in some wild way. For instance, this racer, you don't have to roll your die. You just get to move 5 every turn. That's all, every turn you're going to race 5. Whereas this racer suctions onto another racer and just moves with them every time. And so, every sort of character in the game has this wild game-breaking ability, and it's essentially how do you use that to the best of your ability, and when do you play them in the game? When do you choose which one to put down? I played the old version of Magical Athlete at the Gem State Game Convention, and these dudes were awesome. These guys loved Magical Athlete, and they played it all of the time, and they had stats of how often a character won, how often it finished second, how often it finished third, and so you could reference, 15 years of stats of them playing this game when you decided to draft one of your characters, and it was really fun, and that's the only time I played it, but I would totally jump on this new version of the game. There are some, tweaked mechanisms in the game, updated characters, the Richard Garfield did some updated design for this new version of the game. So, there are some tweaks to it, but, it's largely a silly racing game. Dice Games is releasing First to Worst Care Bears. This is a Care Bear themed version of their popular party game First to Worst. How many people does this play? I messed this up, and it plays. It does not say. I cannot find how many. It's a party game that plays basically as many as you want it to play here. But First to Worst is a cooperative game where one person is ranking some stuff 1 to 5, and everybody else is debating how they rank that. This version of the game includes a lot of Care Bear artwork. So, if you're a fan of Care Bears, then that's a reason to check this one out. You know, it also includes some Care Bear themed cards where you gotta rank some Care Bear stuff, or just some, you know, pleasant, friendly stuff. You are ranking, you know, and it's already a nice game because it's a cooperative game. So if you want to debate and argue and rank stuff together, then check out First to Worst Care Bears. Hachette is releasing the game Kronologic Cuzco 1450. This is a new game in their Kronologic series. It does not have anything to do, they released, maybe last year or 2 years ago, they released Kronologic Paris, and so, you know, this uses the same sort of system, the same mechanisms, but it's a totally different game. You don't have to have played the other game. This plays 1 to 4 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is a deduction style game, so if you want an update to the sort of classic game Clue, this is the same thing where you're trying to find the culprit, the weapon, the location, but it's a little bit more involved than that. This box, this Cuzco 1450, offers 15 exciting challenges spread across 3 immersive scenarios. And so the way the game works is you're going to get cards, and there are characters with these cutouts, and you're going to lay the cutout over the card, and it's going to give multiple pieces of information. Some of that information is for everybody to know, and some of it is just for you to know. And, you know, it might be things like, this is going to tell me how many times this character has been back to this location. And it's going to tell everybody that, but it's going to tell me the exact time they went back to the location, or something like that. And so, you know, it is a competitive game. You are racing to figure out the puzzle, to figure out the mystery before anybody else. And it's about how well do you keep the information you're gaining and logic it together and figure it out as you move forward and learn more and more. So, thematically, these are all sort of Inca-themed mystery scenarios. So if you're a fan of the ancient Inca Empire, then that might be a reason to check this out. So Kronologic Cuzco 1450. Horrible Guild is releasing Potion Explosion Collector's Edition. This plays 2 to 6 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight strategy game. I can honestly say about Potion Explosion, it is one of the games that got me into board games. It was an early game in my board game collection. It was one of, the games I got within the first year or two that I was into the board game hobby back in like 2016. This is... The part of the reason that this collector's edition box is coming out is because it is the 10th anniversary of the game. So congratulations, Potion Explosion, on making it to this many. If you've never played Potion Explosion, it's a really fun game where you are kind of doing the Candy Crush thing in real life. There's a tray of marbles, and you're pulling out a marble and then making other marbles sort of clack together, and if you get the same colors to clack together, you get to grab all those stuff, and you are using the marbles to finish potions. Each potion needs a certain number or type of marbles to finish it, and then when you finish potions, they give you special abilities, sort of one-time bonuses that you can do and that will help you get more marbles and do better in the game. And so it's a really fun, lightweight strategy game, a great introduction strategy game. Well, this big box does a few things. This collector's edition box, it combines all the components from the core game and the 5th element and 6 student expansions into the same box. It has an all-new mini expansion released, and it's got a brand new unique potion in the box, as well as upgrading all the tokens to wood. And it also has a fancier plastic tray for the marbles to come down. So, just making it a sort of deluxe edition of the game and adding some interesting new things if you already have Potion Explosion, and you want to explore a couple of new things. There's a new unique potion and a new mini expansion and stuff. So, yeah, congrats again, Potion Explosion, on making it for 10 years. That's Potion Explosion's Collector's Edition. Next up, Keymaster Games is releasing the 3rd edition of their game, Campy Creatures. This plays 2 to 5 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lighter weight strategy game. Campy Creatures, one, fun theme and art, sort of movie monsters, classic Universal monsters. And it is a bluffing, deduction, and set collection game. So we all have the same cards, but we're playing them down at different times, and, one trying to figure out what other people are going to play. And those are going to allow us to collect mortals. We want mortals to be able to do, we're kind of mad scientists, and we want mortals to be able to do what we are trying to do. And so, it's how do you use the cards to play stuff? How are you bluffing what you are going to play down? This 3rd edition has some creepy new monsters in it, and they come with sneaky new powers. It has updated townsfolk with surprising new abilities, and otherworldly new scene locations that score like never before. And so, if you're a fan of bluffing, deduction sort of stuff, or you like this theme, this is a updated version of it. And, game was already fun, and so they're just making it better when they're doing a new version like this. Kids Table Board Games is releasing Nanatoridori. This plays 2 to 6 players in 10 to 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. This is re-implementing a game called Hachi Train, and Nanatoridori did come out like in Asia a little while ago, and Kids Table Board Games is bringing it over in this new edition. I will also mention that a couple months ago I talked about a game called Jungo from Happy Camper Games. Nanatoridori and Jungo are essentially the same game. So, different artwork, a different theme with the games, but mechanically they are the same game. The way it works is you get a hand of cards, and you cannot rearrange the hand in your cards, kind of like the game Scout. And you are going to be playing cards out and having to beat the card that is out there in the center of the table. The difference here, though, is when you beat a card, you can either choose to discard it or you can add it to your hand. And when you add it to your hand, you can add it anywhere you want. So you can build some very strong hands by, putting that where you want it to go in your hand. And as the game goes on, it escalates into, now a pair is not going to win anything. You need 4 of a kind sort of thing. And so, it is a sort of family weight card game that maybe is a little bit more accessible than Scout, a little bit easier to pick up than Scout. And while I haven't played Nanatoridori, I have played Jungo, and it is a very fun family card game. This one, thematically, it's a game of birds. You have a lot of different birds and different bird art on the cards, and it plays for ages 6 and up. So that's nice if you want a family game. Looney Labs is releasing the game Cat Fluxx. This plays 1 to 6 players in 10 to 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. This is their new game in their Fluxx line. There are a lot of games in the Fluxx line, and they all have different themes, and those themes tweak the game slightly mechanically. The whole idea of Fluxx is that you never know when the game's going to end, because you can play cards that change the rules of the game as you are playing. And so it is literally fluctuating, hence the name Fluxx. And the amount of cards you can hold in your hand is fluctuating, and a lot of the rules change based on the cards that are being played. And all of the Fluxx games, maintain that sort of core theme, but they have different themes on top of them. So obviously with Cat Fluxx, there's going to be a lot of cat art in the game. There's going to be silhouettes. There's going to be a laser pointer in the game. There's going to be new actions such as zoomies, or objects on a shelf must be pushed off. You know, all this different sort of things about Cat that you know and love, and it's put into a Fluxx game. So if you like Fluxx, or if you like cats, that's a good reason to check it out. Osprey Games is releasing General Orders Sengoku Jedi. This plays 2 players only in 30 minutes, and it is a, you know, medium weight game, but maybe on the lower end of medium weight. This is a new version of General Orders, which came out a couple of years ago. I will say General Orders, the original General Orders, is a game that I really enjoyed a lot, and I put it in my top 2-player. It was in my top 5 2-player games of the year it came out. It is a sort of war game, but that's almost that'll almost throw you off by saying that, because it doesn't feel like a normal war game. It is a battle game, and that first one was sort of set in the theme of World War II. This one is set in the theme of feudal Japan, and so it is a worker placement game where you are placing out some of your workers, and those are allowing you to deploy things to various regions, to move troops along, to battle other people. And so, you know, it's a war game, yes, and that you're fighting the other person and it has a sort of war theme, but, you know, it's also a game that takes place, you know, that happens over like 30 minutes, so it's a much quicker. It's also a small box game, which I really appreciated about it. So, you know, this does a few of this. This is also, this new Sengoku Jedi is a, you know, small box battle game for 2 players, worker placement game. It does add some new things. You know, there are waterways in this game. There are ships, which didn't exist in the first game. There are siege weaponry that happen across 2 battle maps. And so there are some, you know, mechanical tweaks and new stuff to explore in this version of the game. And, you know, this is standalone. You don't need to have played the first game. So if you like this theme much more than like a World War II theme, then that's a reason to play this one as well. But it is a very clever worker placement game for 2 people. So that is that's the new version of General Orders. Portal Games is releasing Neuroshima Hex Battle. This is a 2-player only version of the game Neuroshima Hex. Plays in 30 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Neuroshima Hex came out 20 years ago at this point, and it is actually Portal Games' most popular game across the world, which I was surprised to learn, where you are, you know, putting tiles down on the board and fighting your opponent. The whole idea of this one is it's designed to be both for 2 players and also designed to be more of an introduction to the world of Neuroshima Hex. This is a way that you can sort of try the game out, see if it's for you at a lower price point, and then you could dive into the world of Neuroshima Hex if you wanted to. There are a bunch of different armies in the game, and all the armies play somewhat asymmetrically. You know, they have different special abilities and play styles and stuff. So this particular box, this Neuroshima Hex Battle, features the armies of Steel Police and Beasts. The Steel Police brings law and order fanatics clad in experimental power armor with a unique reflection ability that turns enemy attacks back on them. And the Beasts represent feral survivors of Moloch's attack, introducing friendly fire mechanisms and a primal, unpredictable style of play. So, you know, if you want a sort of jumping on point to the world of Neuroshima Hex, then check out this battle version. Ravensburger is releasing Sandcastles of Burgundy. This re-implements the game The Castles of Burgundy, which is a very beloved Euro game. You know, top 50 game of all time, and I know a lot of people that it's like their #1 game of all time. Well, this is setting it in the world of Sandcastles and making it very family friendly. They say this plays ages 5 and up, so if you want a version for young kids of the Castles of Burgundy, the Sandcastles of Burgundy plays 2 to 4 players in about 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. There are going to be some tokens hidden under sandcastles, and you roll die, and those have a color on them, and then you can look under that color sandcastle and claim one of those tokens underneath. And so you're going to be looking under various sandcastles, claiming tokens. You can also use this cart to sort of move one color token down to your player board. And when you have both color tokens, you can upgrade a shop. And so you're going to be, there is some, real choices and strategy. When one person looks under a sandcastle, everybody gets to see. So there's some memory aspect for kids there as well. You're just using various color matching stuff to claim certain decorations and, collecting those decorations, bringing it to your village and sort of upgrading your stuff. There's also these animals of the Royal Guild that are hidden under certain sandcastles. So when you've upgraded one shop, you can go out and find that animal and put it in the shop, which is nice. So that's really how you're going to gain points for various things throughout the game, finding, upgrading shops, finding the animals, all that sort of stuff. And it's a little bit of a race to see who has collected the most points when the round ends. So that is Sandcastles of Burgundy. Steamforge Games is releasing Rivet Wars Reloaded. This plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is sort of on the edge of lightweight to medium weight game. This re-implements a game called Rivet Wars Eastern Front. The whole idea of the game is it's a fast-paced tactical miniatures board game set in a diesel punk world. There's going to be various setups to the board. There are all these tiles, and you're going to put the tiles out in different ways, and that's going to set up that particular scenario for that particular battle. You have a bunch of troops, and every round you have a number of sort of deployment points to spend, and you can use those deploying various types of troops out on to the board, and then you're going to be racing to both fight the other person and complete these missions. There will be, each scenario has a mission, and if you can do the missions first, you can win the game. And so the game can be played individually. Each scenario can be played individually, or it can be played as a campaign if you would rather have a campaign. And the whole idea is that there's like minimal setup. You just set it up the way that scenario is, and then you jump right into the action and fight each other. And so, it's all about speed and tactical deployment and battling and, sort of responding to what your opponent is doing. Most people say that the game plays best at 2 players. It's a little bit meant to be a 2-player head-to-head game, but you can play it as 4. They're also, one of the things that this reloaded version does is it introduces multiple ways to play the game. There are competitive, co-op, solo, and team modes in the game. So a lot of different ways to play the game. If you're looking for a quick-firing, tactical sort of miniature game, then check out, Rivet Wars Reloaded here for you. Stonemaier Games is releasing a new version of Tokaido Duo. Stonemaier released a new version of Tokaido earlier this year, and now they're doing Tokaido Duo. This plays 1 to 2 players in about 30 minutes, and it is on, the maybe lighter weight strategy game. Tokaido Duo, there was a version that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, and now this is an updated Stonemaier version. You are going to be, you have 3 different characters, and you're going to be drafting dice in order to activate those various characters. The Pilgrim is going to visit shrines, gardens, seashores, and hot springs. The Merchant is going to collect and sell traditional souvenirs. The Artist is going to paint a variety of beautiful vistas. And so you will roll the dice, and those are... Each of the 3 dice represents those different characters, and it will give you the number of spaces you're going to move for those characters. And so you're just moving around the board and collecting stuff and trying to do it better than your opponent. One of the things that this Stonemaier version of the game does is it includes character guides for each player, so you have a little bit more of like a player aid, and it also includes an automa solo mode. One thing to know about the solo mode too is it's included in the game, but it's also available separately if you already own the previous version of Tokaido Duo and you want to play it solo. You can get the solo mode separately as well from Stonemaier Games. So yeah, and the artwork is really pretty and stuff. So you know, Stonemaier does a great job with the production of their games as well. And then lastly, Stonemaier Games is releasing Smitten 2. This plays 1 to 2 players in 5 to 10 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. This is a small box card game. They released Smitten, the first version of Smitten, in like 2022, and it was just a free add-on that you could get when you were getting some of their games. And part of it was to celebrate like 10 years of Stonemaier, I think. And so all of the games sort of, there are Easter eggs in the cards that are sort of referring to all of the previous Stonemaier games. So that's, if you like a lot of their games, you know, a lot of their games are very popular. That's one of the reasons to do it. It is a cooperative game where you are trying to play cards out in a 3x3 grid. Both players are trying to play cards out in a 3x3 grid. But when you play a card, there is sort of an ability on the card, and it's like the next card must be something higher than this one. And you have to play a card out adjacent, orthogonal to a card that you've already played, and if at some point you can't play a card, you lose. And so you're trying to sort of puzzle out how you're playing the cards and putting them into a 3x3 grid. The grid also makes a panorama, a beautiful card sort of panorama picture at the end of it, so that's nice. One of the things about this one, this is a standalone sequel, and the 9 cards all sort of reference Stonemaier games that have come out since the first Smitten. So this is different art and different Easter eggs for different games. There are multiple difficulty levels and separate modes for solo and 2-player game, which is nice. But, you know, again, small box card game. If you want a quick playing cooperative game, then check out Smitten 2. So those are 19 new editions that are coming to retail here in September. So one exciting thing, I just got my new dates for my new Green Team Wins live show in Southern California at the world famous Comedy Store. So if you happen to be at the Comedy Store or in Southern California, Sunday, November 2nd is my next night of Green Team Wins Live, and it's been really fun to do live, and I think it can be a cool show that keeps growing. So I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you letting people know about that show. Thanks as always for being here, liking, subscribing, all that sort of stuff. I appreciate it. I'll be back next month with more retail releases. All right, thanks everybody. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.